Waluigi time!
Hi everyone, I'm Mr.Waluigi. What are we going to be reviewing today? Well, I'm glad you asked. Actually, no I'm not. Because Planet from Outer Space is one of the worst movies ever made! Yes, that's right. What has been deemed the worst movie ever made by many is director Ed Wood's biggest hit. Are they right to call it the worst movie ever? You be the judge. This is Plan 9 from Outer Space.
So we start off with a bit of opening narration from none other than the amazing Criswell.
Greetings, my friend. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. And remember, my friend, future events such as these will affect you in the future.
No kidding! I figured they would affect us in the past.
So after the credits, we see a funeral taking place. It's the funeral of the wife of an old man, played by Bela Lugosi. After everybody leaves, we cut to two pilots named Jeff and Danny, who see a flying saucer outside the window.
Trouble?
Take a look for yourself.
What in the world?
That's nothing from this world.
No. Let's try this again. How about, holy crap, there's a flying saucer outside! Call the army! Radio the tower! Aliens are invading! Oh my god! That would be a normal reaction. But no, they don't really seem that phased if they just saw a freaking flying saucer.
So the saucer lands in the cemetery, which catches the attention of the gravediggers.
Did you hear anything?
I thought it did.
Don't like hearing noises, especially when there ain't supposed to be any.
Yeah, sort of spooky like.
Maybe we're getting old.
Whatever it is, it's gone now.
The embarrassingly out-of-sync gravediggers. So the gravediggers start to leave when they're attacked by a vampire, who is apparently the corpse of the wife of the old man from before brought back to life.
Wait a minute, weren't they just filling her grave? Where did she come from?
Next we see the old man leaving his home. God, you can just tell what Bela Lugosi was thinking while he was filming this. Oh God, why did I ever agree to do this? This movie is so stupid. But just as he's leaving his home, this happens.
What, was this supposed to be a sitcom? I mean, seriously, imagine you're watching this scene without context, and tell me that you couldn't believe it could be a sitcom. We don't even see him get hit by the car, and the editing is so clumsy, it's just laughable.
So at the old man's funeral, two of the mourners see the dead gravediggers, so they call the police to investigate. This is where we meet Lieutenant John Harper and Inspector Daniel Clay, played by Tor Johnson, who sounds less like an American police chief and more like a Swedish guy trying not to sound Swedish.
Have one of the boys take the guy and the girl back to town. You take charge.
So Inspector Clay goes off by himself while the other officers search together. Next we see Jeff again, who's sitting at home telling his wife Paula about the flying saucer.
I saw a flying saucer.
Saucer? You mean the kind from up there?
Yeah, its counterpart. It was shaped like a huge cigar.
Okay, I'm convinced he didn't actually see the flying saucer. He must have been looking at something else, or I don't know if he's seeing giant flying cigars. Maybe he's on some kind of hallucinogen, but he clearly didn't see it.
So he tells Paula that he's upset because the government made him swear to secrecy about the saucer. And then the saucer flies in from overhead and knocks everybody down.
Okay, seriously, did they just write this entire thing as a pilot for a sitcom? I mean, look at that!
So as Inspector Clay goes to investigate, the corpse of the old man comes out of the...
I'm sorry. What the is that? That's not Bela Lugosi. I don't know who that is, but it's not Bela Lugosi. I mean, what, did they just expect us to believe that was still him?
So after Clay sees the dead old man, he sees the dead old man's wife. Seriously, are we supposed to be afraid of that? Look at her! She looks like the love child of C-3PO and Dr. Frankenfurter! So anyway, they kill Inspector Clay and the other officers find his body.
One thing sure. Inspector Clay's dead. Murdered. And somebody's responsible.
Well, no Sherlock!
Next we see that the aliens are flying over Hollywood, startling many of the citizens. Why the aliens just fly over the city in plain sight and don't blast anything is anybody's guess. Then we see them flying over Washington, D.C., where the military is shooting them down.
Rockets were quickly set up. Colonel Tom Edwards, in charge of saucer field activities, was to make the greatest decision of his career. He made that decision. Colonel Edwards gave the signal to fire.
Was firing on the alien invaders a difficult decision?
So the military fires at the saucers, but nothing seems to affect them. This means that the saucers could just easily attack, right? No, they retreat for no reason, leaving us to wonder why they even bothered making an appearance at all. So this is when we're introduced to Colonel Thomas Edwards, who's apparently in charge of anything having to do with flying saucers. So Colonel Edwards just starts telling this ordinary soldier about how the aliens once attacked a town.
Then they attacked a town. A small town, I'll admit, but nevertheless a town of people. People who died.
I never heard about that, sir.
You're not gonna show it? Is there any particular reason you thought it was important to bring it up if you're not gonna show it or mention it again for the rest of the movie? And if the aliens actually did annihilate an entire town, how is it that the public doesn't know about the aliens? I'm thinking if aliens annihilated an entire town, it would make some headlines!
So the aliens go to a space station to regenerate their ship. Here we meet their commander named Eros and his partner Tana, and they tell us their plan.
What plan will you follow now?
Plan 9. It's been absolutely impossible to work through these Earth creatures. Their soul is too controlled.
Plan 9. Ah, yes. Plan 9 deals with the resurrection of the dead.
Resurrection of the dead? You aliens! Use your spaceships and your technology to destroy us if you want to destroy the Earth. Don't raise the dead, you morons! You are light years ahead of us. Use your technology to destroy us if that's what you want. I mean, seriously, this was Plan 9? What were Plans 1 through 8, and how can they possibly have been any worse than this?
So they start to go back to their ship when Eros makes the first of many little observations about us humans.
You know, it's an interesting thing when you consider the Earth people who can think are so frightened by those who cannot. The dead.
Maybe it's because they're trying to kill them?
So after the flying saucers return to Earth, we see Jeff and Paula again. Jeff is getting ready to leave for another flight, and is worried about Paula.
Oh, you're the only thing I do worry about. Oh, forget about the flying saucers. They're up there. But there's something in that cemetery. And that's too close for comfort.
The saucers are up there, and the cemetery's out there. But I'll be locked up in there.
And the car is right there, and the chairs are right there, and you'll be over there, and the next door neighbors will be over there. We know where everything is! Shut up! Ugh, God, I'm sorry. I know I sound like I'm nitpicking, but this is one of the biggest problems with this movie. The dialogue is so awful that I have to take the time to criticize it. I mean, like, listen to what she says just a few seconds later.
Besides, I'll be in bed before half an hour is gone, with your pillow beside me.
A pillow?
Well, I have to have something to keep me company while you're away. Sometimes in the night when it does get a little lonely, I reach over and touch it. Then it doesn't seem so lonely anymore.
That doesn't make any sense! Touching your husband's empty pillow makes you feel less lonely? The fact that his head isn't resting on it should remind you of how lonely you are!
So anyway, after Jeff leaves, we see the dead old man moving towards Paula's house. Well, it looks like Bela Lugosi's back. Let's hope it stays that way. Son of a bitch!
Why do they keep changing actors in between scenes? It doesn't make any sense!
So she runs away from him and he chases her through the semi. What is going on?
First it was Bella, then it wasn't, then it was, then it wasn't, now it is again!
And it looks like the exact same shot as before.
I mean, what? Did Ed Wood just shoot a couple of scenes with Bela Lugosi doing random things that had nothing to do with this movie, and then just decide to put them into the movie for no reason?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, seriously? That's what happened? No. There's no way that's what happened. Not even the worst director ever would do that.
Yes, he would.
Ugh! Jeez, what are you doing here? Oh, sorry guys, I should introduce you. This is my twin brother, Mr.Waluigi. He always shows up to correct me about movies or just downright annoy me.
That's right. And I can personally tell you that's what Ed Wood did.
And you're sure about that?
Uh-huh.
Wow. That is really, really sad. I'm starting to see why this guy won the Gold Turkey Award for Worst Director Ever.
So as the bride of C-3PO and fake Lugosi chase Paula through the cemetery, she sees the corpse of Inspector Clay rise up out of his grave. Although it seems like he's struggling a bit. So Paula escapes the cemetery and is rescued by a passerby, so all of the zombies go back to the alien ship and they lift off. Because I guess attacking any people who aren't either in the cemetery or right next to it isn't part of their job description. So the police show up and we get to hear another conversation that makes absolutely no sense.
It's tough to find something when you don't know what you're looking for.
I don't think the lieutenant does either.
Then what are we doing out here? I was off duty an hour ago.
Oh, don't ask me any questions. I'm just a hard hand just like you.
How much longer do we have?
What do you suppose that noise was?
Whatever it was, it's no more strange than the other things happening around this cemetery.
Spirits like old Farmer Caller talked about.
Well, maybe.
The only spirits he saw tonight were those I smelled on his breath.
Well, don't forget, Miss Trent claims to have seen them, too. She didn't have anything on her breath.
She was hysterical.
And why do you think that might be, smart one? Oh, he doesn't have time to answer, because they have to have another conversation that makes no sense.
Lieutenant, did you hear that?
How could we help it?
It sure was strange.
Know what it was?
No more than you do.
If it went for orders, I'd get out of here right now.
It was a saucer.
A flying saucer?
What makes you say that?
Do you remember the noise we heard the other night?
We were knocked to the ground. How could I forget?
Exactly. But you're not remembering that sound.
There you're wrong, Lieutenant. I'm with the fact the sound is similar, but what about the blinding light?
Oh, haven't you heard? Been many times the saucer hasn't had a glow. Or a light of any kind, for that matter.
That proves it. What next, Lieutenant?
Oh, Lieutenant, maybe this doesn't mean much, but Jamie Mee found a grave that looks like it's been busted into.
Doesn't matter much! Oh, I can see why you didn't think it mattered that much. It's only a grave robbery, you idiots!
So they go to see whose grave has been broken into.
It's Inspector Clay's grave, but he ain't in it.
That's nice. They don't even remember where they buried their supposed dear friend.
So next we see Colonel Edwards back in Washington, D.C., talking to a general. The general explains that the aliens have been communicating with them, but the government keeps denying that they exist and won't respond to them. So the general plays one of their messages.
This is Eros, a space soldier from a planet of your galaxy. I fully realize our language differences. However, I also know you finally have perfected the dictoromatary, or as you on Earth call it, the language computer. So you can now understand that which I speak. Since the beginning of your time, we have been far beyond your planet. It has taken you centuries to even grasp what we developed eons of your years ago. Do you still believe it impossible we exist? You didn't actually think you were the only inhabited planet in the universe. How can any race be so stupid?
Said the moron who's trying to raise zombies to attack the human race instead of just shooting them or holding their leaders hostage.
Permit me to set your mind at ease. We do not want to conquer your planet, only save it. We could have destroyed it long ago if that had been our aim. Our principal purpose is friendly. I admit we have had to take certain means which you might refer to as criminal. but that is because of your big guns, which have destroyed some of our representatives.
I can only assume they did that after you attacked a small town.
If you persist in denying us our landings, then we must only accept that you do not want us on friendly terms. We then have no alternative but to destroy you before you destroy us. With your ancient, juvenile minds, you have developed explosives too fast for your minds to conceive what you are doing. You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe. We are a part of that universe. This is our last...
So the general tells Colonel Edwards that he'll be going to California to deal with the aliens. Next we see Eros and Tana have returned to the space station and have brought back the zombies to show their leader. He then tells Eros that he's taking away 2 of his ships.
That will leave only my ship. It is necessary that you continue your mission alone. I have need of your other ships elsewhere. Even though you have risen 3 of the Earth's dead, the plan is far from successful.
It's far from making any sense!
And you, Eros, must prove it an operational success before more time, energy, ships, and your countrymen may be spent on it.
Spent? What's gonna happen?
You reported that your ship was viewed at the scene of your present operations.
That is correct.
They have been viewed many times, but not at the scene of operations. Something must be done about that.
So let me get this straight. Your goal is to get them to acknowledge that you exist, yet you don't want any of them to see you. Well, it's clear now. These guys have no room to be calling us stupid.
So Tana brings in Inspector Clay, but her electrode gun malfunctions, causing Inspector Clay to attack Eros.
Stop him, Dennis! I can't get it, it's jammed! Stop him, you fool!
Drop the gun to the floor, Tanner. The metal will break contact.
Wow. For a guy who was laughing earlier about humans fearing the dead, he seemed pretty scared just now.
So they show him Inspector Clay and take him back to the ship, while the leader gives Eros more orders.
The old one must be sacrificed.
Sacrificed? Let me make this clear to you. You have 3 zombies. 3. There are 7 billion people on Earth. And you want to sacrifice one of your zombies for no apparent reason. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
So the lieutenant and the colonel go to Jeff and Paula's house to ask them about the flying saucers when they hear a strange sound, leading to the clumsiest, most ridiculous, and worst shot scene in film history.
What the hell just happened? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let that go. What did I just look at? This isn't a film. This isn't a film, this is a pile of horse captured on camera. That was the all-time worst put-together movie I have ever seen. And I've sat through some pretty horribly done movies.
So they go to the cemetery to look for the aliens, and they make Paula wait in the car. Which turns out to be a pretty dumb decision, since Officer Useless over here gets knocked out for the 2nd time. But Jeff, Colonel Edwards, and the lieutenant make their way to the ship. By the way, I love how the outside of this flying saucer is square. Like Ed Wood just thought we wouldn't notice. So they go in the ship and confront the 2 aliens.
Why is it so important that you want to contact the governments of our Earth?
Because of death. Because all you of Earth are idiots.
Said the idiot raising zombies and then killing them. Didn't we go over this?
You just hold on, Buster. No, you hold on. First was your firecracker, a harmless explosive. Then your hand grenade. They began to kill your own people a few at a time.
Oh, so we get a moral now! Oh no. No, 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 no. You can't do that, movie. You can't do that. You can't just shove all that bullshit you've been shoving in our faces for the last hour and expect us to take anything in this movie seriously. No. You can't do that, movie.
Then the bomb. Then a larger bomb. Many people are killed at one time. Then your scientists stumbled upon the atom bomb. Split the atom. Then the hydrogen bomb, where you actually explode the air itself.
What, do they teach Earth history on your planet? How do you know all this?
Now you can brings the total destruction of the entire universe served by our sun. The only explosion left is the solarmanite.
Why, there's no such thing.
Perhaps to you.
Then why are you telling them about it? They didn't even know it existed until you just told them!
The solarmanite is a way to explode the actual particles of sunlight.
So what if we do develop this solarnite bomb? We'd be even a stronger nation than now.
Yes, Ed Wood, yes. Because we on Earth are just that stupid. I know what you're trying to do, Ed Wood. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to say that all people on Earth are just that ignorant and that dumb. That every Joe Schmo's reaction would be, oh, well, we'd just be an even stronger nation than we are now. And let me tell you something. Yes, there are people who think that way. But to say that everybody on Earth would just generally think that is so ridiculous and so absurd.
You see? You see? Your stupid minds. Stupid. Stupid.
You're the one raising zombies to attack the Earth and keeping them in the cemetery, you dumb piece of shit! You're the one who just told them about the only weapon that could destroy the universe when they didn't even know about it! You are the one who is the dumbest alien life form in the universe! God, this is ridiculous! We're supposed to believe this.
That's it. I've had it with this movie. Let's just get this over with so I don't have to talk about it anymore. So Officer Useless takes care of Inspector Clay and Jeff, and the others set the ship on fire and flee. Since the aliens' electrode guns were destroyed, all the zombies go back to being dead. So as the aliens try to flee, their ship explodes. Thank God.
So that's Plan 9 from outer space. Is it one of the worst movies ever made? You're damn right it is! I mean, this is not just a bad film. This is a film that is so indescribably, god-awfully, and inexplicably bad that it transcends the very laws of nature. Well, that's it. I guess the only thing left to say is...
God help us in the future.
Amen to that. Well... that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you next time.